Sky's the limit, the truth is on our side. There's no time for worry, let's show the world our pride. Whether another comes up with a surprise, we all will discover where our fate will lie. On a blue wave, we rise to save the day. Only me, only you can let our hearts sail away on a blue wave.
Welcome to episode 31 of TruBlu Politics Podcast with me, Karen, and
me, Anita.
And welcome to this unfiltered, naked and unfiltered special of TruBlu Politics Podcast. So this, I mean, where to start, Anita? You know what, Karen, had a lot going on.
Where do we start?
Where do we start?
That's the problem everybody's having right now. Because you have to, there's so much shit coming at you that you can't, and they know it. This is a strategy, right?
Where to look, where to start,
what is the most important thing? What is the most important thing to highlight right now? And and there's so many things that are going unnoticed because of that. Mm-hmm. And because we're getting, distracted by, all of the talk about, we're going to make Canada the 51st state and, and all of this other stuff that it's just like, okay. I mean, and the Canada 51st state, you're right. It's a distraction to a certain extent. It's not as important as like saving Social Security. But,
so it's like it's like we have to sort stuff out. It's like when you're, clearing out your basement. It's like, okay, you make your piles, right? We have to make piles and you have to say like, okay, this stuff is the stuff that
we have to keep this. Yeah.
We have to keep this. We want to keep this. We have to pay attention to this. This is the stuff that's going to go to Goodwill.
And this is trash.
And this is just trash. Okay.
And I can't believe it's even here still.
Right. So some of the trash
smells bad.
Right. So some of the trash is renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
That's so dumb.
That's so dumb. That's in the trash. How about reinstating the name Fort Bragg? Okay, maybe that goes,
That's trash. Do you know why?
That's trash.
Because it's bullshit. The Fort Bragg, the guy they pussied out because the Bragg that they named him after now is actually a guy that served in World War II.
Right.
With the same name.
Right.
So they're being cute.
Right.
So, I mean, we could throw fits about that, but nobody's protesting that because there's too many other things that actually affect our lives.
Right.
And people are going to die about, their lives are at risk.
And, I mean, and of course, this is a single episode. Last week, we jumped on our rapid response about the press conference, the ambush in the Oval Office of President Zelensky. And, the aftermath is,
it's gotten worse.
It's gotten worse. And I don't know, so we have that, and that is all important to talk about. I think we are wanting right now to focus closer domestically. And so specifically, there is been some conversation coming from Democrats about the cuts to Social Security and the lies that Donald Trump is telling. And so, Anita, you had brought to my attention Representative Doggett.
He's represents some area around Austin, and he's the only Democrat that represents that area, by the way. So, he's a longtime congressman from there.
So we can go ahead and play this clip. of him, Representative Doggett debunks Donald Trump's Social Security lies.
During the speech that Donald Trump made during the speech, yeah. And continues to make.
Well, last night's speech demonstrated once again that Trump operates in a fact-free environment. Whenever he's called upon to justify some outlandish claim, he just makes things up. He relies on imaginary numbers, what some of his minions refer to as alternative facts, otherwise known as lies. Of the many lies that he told last night, one of the most troubling surrounded his attack on Social Security. You'll remember it as extended laughter and extended ridicule as he talked about Social Security paying out millions of dollars to people that were over 150 years old. This is the Social Security system that has delivered decade after decade, month after month, to provide life-sustaining support for seniors and for those with disabilities. And this attack accompanies Elon Musk's declaration this week that Social Security is just a Ponzi scheme. This extended attack on Social Security is based on a bold-faced lie. Trump knows, his staff knows, that Social Security is not paying out a dime to anyone who's over 115 years old. That's been true long since the Inspector General's report. Social Security makes payments to 72 million Americans each year, and less than 1% of the payments have ever been found to be improper. And those improper payments, they're not just overpayments or payments to a dead person. They include underpayments where Social Security failed to pay enough to some senior or individual with disabilities. The attack that he has also ignores the fact that the Republican indifference has caused the Social Security Administration to not be able to do its job as well as it could and should. Because between 2010 and today, Social Security, the administration's consumer budget has fallen 19%. Its staffing has been cut by 11%. And these cuts have happened despite the fact that we've called on the Social Security Administration to provide care to 13 million more people, or a 25% increase over that time. So what's the solution of Trump, Musk, other than denigrating Social Security? Well, they're going to cut Social Security Administration by another 7,000 people. And at the same time, they jeopardize Social Security with their soaring national debt. These great fiscal conservatives that can never afford a penny for a little more health care or a little more educational opportunity, they are going to add $4 trillion to our national debt even after they make all of these horrendous cuts. So together, they are trying to weaken public support, promote various myths about Social Security, and then set up a budget structure that will present us with a troubling situation where one day those Social Security checks will be marked by Republicans insufficient funds. We are going to stand up and fight back for Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and not let them do that.
Right.
Yeah. No, that was a good, narrative, the way he put it. But it's important to remember that what I liked what he said when he talked about how Republicans have been destroying little by little the administration of Social Security, so that it's not as effective. It's not effective. It's not as they're not as
efficient.
I'm sorry, efficient. I was looking for that word. Yeah, it's not as efficient, although it's pretty efficient.
Yeah.
So,
well, and let's, and you're a history buff, and so the whole reason that Social Security was created was so that senior citizens didn't starve and didn't go without health care, correct? Medicare.
Well, right? Medicare wasn't started until that
wasn't started till later, right? Okay.
So OBJ.
But Social Security was started because there was a problem with senior citizens being able to live. Right.
By the way, it was started by the first woman cabinet member.
Yeah.
What was her name? Can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, please. I did not study. I didn't know there was going to be a quiz.
Okay. Well, anyway, the point is, she started it and she came up with the idea. She was the first woman cabinet member. I'm just saying, okay? We need more women in the cabinet because they have great ideas like Social Security. But yeah, she came up with that, and it's self-funded, meaning you pay into it and you take out of it. It's your money when you retire. So every generation, they pay into it so that that generation can continue to receive Social Security, and then also so that when you become 65 or 67 or whatever it is, when you get to retire, it'll be there for you. There's a simple, Republicans like to talk about how it's going back. They will always say that, Social Security won't even exist by the time I retire. It's going bankrupt. That is such a bunch of bull. It's fully funded, I think, until 2032. You'll have to look this up, Karen. Google it real quick.
Listen, I've been busy Googling. Frances Perkins,
Frances Perkins for FDR. She served under FDR.
Secretary of Labor.
Right, exactly.
And that was in 1935.
Right. And so then, the fully funding of Social Security. But then it's like 75% funded, and there's a simple solution to fund it completely. The other 20% is just raise the payroll taxes so that people who make, I think it's there's another thing for you to Google, 200,000, 150,000. Those people don't pay payroll taxes on money they make after 150,000 or 170,000. I wish you'd Google this real quick. We should have done this before the show, but yeah, I mean, there's a simple solution. And what's funny is if you listen to these town halls, there are people that know this. People know their shit when it comes to Social Security, because and there's no means testing. One of the genius things, the brilliant things that they did with Social Security was they made it universal. I mean, there's no means testing. So in other words, it doesn't matter how much you make or how little you make. Everyone gets Social Security.
Right.
And so, that means it's protected from attacks, because a lot of things that are means tested, like SNAP programs or Section 8 housing and all this other stuff, that's means tested. So they attack that because it doesn't affect the middle class, basically.
Yeah.
So it's easier to attack because that's just for lazy poor people, which is bullshit. But whatever, that's what they think. Yeah.
Well, right, because that's what the Republican Party has been allowed to push to the American public and the media when they refer to Social Security as an entitlement, which pisses me off, because that's not what it is. It is an earned benefit that we pay into. And so when they say that they want to do away with it or they want to privatize it, that is them taking our fucking money. That's what they're doing, and that's what Elon Musk. And that's what Elon Musk, an unelected South African billionaire who has government contracts, who was not did not have hearings in Congress. He's not a cabinet member. He's not confirmed. Okay, so what the hell is he doing in our shit?
Okay, but more upsetting is just that any of these guys, honestly, any of these guys, they're all very wealthy, and they're always trying to steal Social Security or privatize it. They want to get a hold of that slush fund, as they think of it.
Right.
And when he says that, when Elon Musk, I don't know if you heard, he was on a podcast with Joe Rogan, who's a fucking moron.
He's calling it a Ponzi scheme.
And he called it a pyramid scheme. He called it a pyramid scheme.
He called it a Ponzi.
No, I thought he said pyramid, but whatever.
No, it was a Ponzi scheme.
It doesn't matter. But the point is, he doesn't know what he's talking about. This is this is the way that Republicans talk about it, because they're trying to destroy it. It's all bullshit. None of that is true. So you pay into Social Security. You get it back when you retire.
This isn't the government. This isn't the government just giving you money out of the goodness of your heart. This is money that we paid. This was the promise that we were going to have money coming into our bank accounts after we hit the age of 65 or 70 or in retirement.
Another way they try, and sometimes they have been successful, to cut Social Security is by raising the retirement age, because every time they do that, they steal some of your money.
Yep.
So we cannot allow that. Don't let them get away with, we're just raising the age of retirement because, people are living longer. You know who's living longer? They are, because they're the top 1%.
Right.
The bottom 50% of earners in this country are living shorter lives. Their life expectancy is actually shorter. It's getting shorter. Because especially in this country, in other countries, it's not true, because in this country, we don't have universal health care.
Right.
So there's all these people that are working their asses off, especially if you work in a labor-intensive job, or you're on your feet all the time. Those people can't retire when they're 70. Construction workers, people who work in factories, people who work on car plants. I mean, just a lot. But these guys, they sit on their ass and they get 3 months out of the year off.
Right.
And they talk about, people are living longer. Why should we be giving them Social Security when they're under 70 years old? There's a reason senators live to be like 100 years old.
Right. They live very cushy lives.
Very cushy lives. And they've got great medical care, that we pay for.
Yes, they do.
And they sit there and tell us, you know what, you guys, you're not working hard enough, and these lazy people over here don't deserve anything. I mean, it's just so disgusting. And they want to steal our money. The Social Security, it doesn't make you rich.
No.
It's so that you're not poor, so that you can afford to just have a life of dignity, with dignity.
Right.
Now I have to eat cat food.
Right.
Or, I mean, God, these people, they're such fucking elitist.
Yep.
Republicans, and they're getting away with, like they're some sort of populist, like they care about the working man.
They're just a regular, they like wear cowboy hats and
it's all performative.
And they talk with an accent just because we're just regular guys.
They fall on their ass trying to get in because they aren't, tough guys. They're really actually just Ted Cruz. Hey, Josh Hawley. Those guys are such a joke. Remember him running away? Ooh, in January 6th. Oh
no, they're coming to get me. Fisting aficionado, right?
And he actually wrote a book about being real men. But these guys, everything Republicans do is performative. They don't give a shit about American workers. They don't give a shit about the Constitution. They don't even give a shit about the Bible.
They sure don't.
What they really care about is power and money and control.
Well, they definitely, I'm going to say they don't believe in the New Testament. They call themselves Christians, but they don't
believe in any
follow. No, they don't.
They don't follow any of that shit. They don't give a damn about the Bible, period.
No.
You see Mike Johnson up there? He's supposed to be the big Christian, right? That's what he's all about. This guy sits there and fucking lies off his ass to protect Donald Trump. He is a piece of shit. He even had that stupid...
He's the worst kind. He really is the worst kind.
He's the worst kind.
These posers, these pretenders,
performative.
Totally performative. And just like, God.
Here's another thing. Patriotism. Their patriotism.
Oh, yeah.
The Constitution. Patriotism. They don't give a shit about that.
No.
They don't give a shit about this country. They're selling out to Russia.
Yep.
Everything has been exposed. That's the one thing Donald Trump did. We all knew it the whole time, but it's getting exposed now that they were always full of shit.
Yep.
So whenever they're trying to do their little song and dance about, the middle class or the flag or whatever, the Bible, God, there's just bullshit.
Full of shit.
They don't care about deficits either. They don't care about spending. No. What they do is spend. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no, I was gonna say too. And it's all like a shell game too. Rachel Maddow talked about the GDP and how they want to. Yeah.
They're going to change. Oh, this is very important. They want to manipulate it or just completely ignore it or hide it, any kind of data coming out about the economy, because it's going to be shit. Donald Trump is tanking the economy, and that's the truth. He's tanking it with the mass deportations, or they're really not mass deportations. They're actually performative also, but they're scaring people. And so
they're scaring, so then they're not showing up.
They're not showing up
right.
And then that, and then
the
layoffs,
tariffs.
and the tariffs. The tariffs, because he keeps, it's a yo-yo, like, we're putting tariffs on, and as soon as they threaten to retaliate, he pussies out. He's done this over and over again with Canada, with Mexico, with Colombia. He continues to do this, and he's never got. It's a game. He's playing a game.
Yeah. And then there's, these articles that are coming out, talking about him gaming the stock market, that with all of this chaos that
they're taking advantage of it.
They're taking advantage of it. And it's just, for people, when we talk about what to pay attention to, what things are important to pay attention to, these are the things to understand, or to pay attention to and understand.
Well, the tariff things, but the tariff things are scary. And the thing, what tariffs do, what he's doing is what business likes is stability.
Yes.
Okay. And with him and predictability, there is none of that. He's just one day to another, whatever he feels like, whatever comes to his little stupid fucking pea brain.
Right. Exactly. But what I'm saying is, like, with the tariffs, with the stock market, with all this is the stuff that you need to understand, and it's just one of those things that it's just overwhelming people. They're like, wait, well, what is that? What does that mean for me? And it's like, that means your retirement. That means your 401k. That affects, everything that
if you're working, if it's scary, because if the economy is not doing well, you have to worry about your job. You have security.
And if so prices are going to go higher, are already higher, and so people
at the same time people are losing their jobs. It's called stagnation.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
So this is what it is, and this is going to affect you, MAGA. It's going to affect everybody. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, people that don't give a fuck about anything and don't pay attention to anything, that just want to, go and post their
watch
shit
The Bachelorette.
Yeah, exactly. Watch The Real Housewives.
Housewives. I was going to tell you, I want to talk about something else related to that. It's the people that are going to get hurt the worst, honestly, are the people who voted for him. Voted for Donald Trump, because it's rural communities. He doesn't give a shit. He is hurting them the most. He talked about it during that stupid fucking speech about taking back the CHIPS Act.
Right.
Okay. There are communities. He's already done the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, and I don't know if he's done with the Infrastructure Act, but he has put a halt on all that, right? Spending, because they have to pay for their big fat tax cuts for the wealthy and multinational corporations. So he's stopping these programs, and they were providing jobs for these communities these people are in. He stopped the broadband that were going to these communities, these small communities, small rural communities that Biden put in place. He stopped it.
Yep.
They are going to get hurt the more than people like you or me. I live in the you live in the suburbs of Chicago. I live in the suburbs of San Antonio. It's those people I know that live in these little hick towns outside of San Antonio and Dallas and Houston.
Right. Yeah. Well, So, getting back to Social Security, I don't know if you remember this, Anita, if you're old enough to remember this, but
probably not.
President Biden was giving his State of the Union before Congress, and talking specifically to Social Security. So here we go.
Anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you.
Wow, that's such decorum.
Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you, I enjoy conversion. It means If Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant.
It is all of them.
Contact my office.
Yeah. So
that's him talking about Social Security and how they want to cut Social Security. And did you see the decorum they showed him? Karen,
yes,
outstanding. They was talking about Social Security and how he said they wanted to cut it. Now they started screaming and saying, "Oh my God!" And some of the most vociferous, denials of that were from Marjorie Taylor Greene and Mike Lee, who's been was found on video to have said he wanted to pull out Social Security root and branch. So but anyway, the point is they were denying this, but of course they always deny it. That is exactly what they want to do. Not a small minority. They all want to do that. There's very few, I can't think of a Republican that doesn't want to. At least
as long as I can remember. As long as I can remember, and Paul Ryan. Every single one of them. Have talked.
What's his name?
Boner.
Yeah, Boner. Yeah, him. He wanted to. They all do. They've always wanted to. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Not a small minority. What the hell was Joe talking about? That was one of the problems I had with Joe Biden. Was that he did not? He was too soft. He was too soft on them because he's from a different era.
Yes,
he really.
And that's the problem with our older, our older leadership. And when I say older leadership, because not, there's some older
some that get it.
Leaders that get it, like Al Green, who 10 Democrats voted
like 70 years old.
Censure.
Yeah, 72. Yeah.
Yes.
10 Democrats.
Yes.
Do you have a list? Do you have that list so we can give to our?
I can look that up, but I do want to play this because, of course, Al Green was censured because he stood up and spoke to the fact that
and raised his cane.
And he raised his cane. He was raising Cain. And
he was raising Cain.
That's what we want.
God bless him.
Want that.
He's
God
a hero.
Bless him. He is a hero. He is the first person out of the gate, the first Democrat out of the gate to issue articles of impeachment.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is what we need. What the Democratic Party needs to understand is that we want fighters.
Truth tellers and
fighters. Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert stand up and they're, in her Cruella DeVille coat or, MAGA costume. Hat or whatever, they cosplay and they stand up there and they try and put themselves off as like, actually legitimate and serious. And it's
so disingenuous.
Lies. It's so, like you said, it's performative. Meanwhile, he raises his cane because real Americans.
For Medicaid.
Yes, exactly. So let me play this
for poor
clip
kids and seniors.
Exactly. Let me play this clip and then I'll see if I can find that list of the 10 Democrats.
Hi, Congressman. What were you shouting to the president, sir? Sir, what were you shouting to the president?
The president said he had a mandate. And I was making it clear to the president that he has no mandate to cut Medicaid. I have people who are very fearful. These are poor people, and they have only Medicaid in their lives when it comes to their health care. And I want him to know that his budget calls for deep cuts in Medicaid. He needs to save Medicaid, protect it. We need to raise the cap on Social Security. There's a possibility that it's going to be hurt. And we got to protect Medicare. These are the safety net programs that people in my congressional district depend on. And this president seems to care less about them and more about the number of people that he can remove from the various programs that have been so helpful to so many people. It is the best way to get it across to a person who uses his incivility.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you played that. I'm glad you played it all the way to the end.
Hold on, it's not done.
Against civility.
So he
using his incivility against civility, and that's exactly right. That's exactly right. These people are not civil. They are disingenuous when they talk about, decorum or any of that shit. They never show decorum. So they want us to play by these rules that they're not playing by.
Mm-hmm. So these are the 10 Democratic representatives who voted to censure Al Green. Amy Barra, California 6, Ed Case, Hawaii 1, Jim Costa, California 21, Laura Gillen, New York 4, Jim Himes, Connecticut 4, Chrissy Houlihan, Pennsylvania 6, Marcy Kaptur, Ohio 9, Jared Moskowitz, Florida 23, Marie Glusenkamp Perez, Washington 3, and Tom Swayze, New York 3.
Shame. It's very upsetting.
Why? What's the point of that?
Because
Do they not
wanna
understand where we're at?
No,
What?
they don't. They want to play by rules that don't exist for Republicans anymore.
Right.
They're only for us. And
Right.
Republicans will weaponize that every time.
Absolutely.
It's, I understand they're afraid of like total collapse of civility and just the whole kind of
Yeah. War is messy. And we're in a war. We're in a
war.
fucking war right now. I'm sorry. I don't know. I just, do you not hear the town halls? Do they not talk to their constituents?
Let me just say something real quick too. People are going to get so pissed off. We've got these billionaires in that cabinet, and Elon Musk representing all of them, who's the richest man in the world.
And he's not even in the cabinet, okay?
And cutting things, he's not even in the cabinet. He's illegally taking away stuff from other Americans, okay? He's taking away our programs, which is unconstitutional because that's up to Congress. He should not be in there. It's so illegal. I cannot stand it. But the point is, we're seeing these billionaires, because his cabinet is full of billionaires also.
Mm-hmm.
They want to take away, and people are just going to start feeling it. There are people who know what they're talking about, like Martin O'Malley used to run the Social Security Administration, talking about our Social Security checks not being sent. We're not getting our Social Security checks in 30 to 60 days. He said Social Security will collapse with the cuts they're doing to the administration of Social Security. Things like that. People are going to get so fucking pissed. And I'm talking about white people. And white people are the biggest babies ever. Look what they did. They're the white people that attacked the Capitol when they lost an election. But
Anita.
It's true.
Anita, that's not what's important now. It's that Al Green stood up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That was so offensive. I mean, seriously, that he was up there screaming about helping poor people.
I mean,
Please.
So yeah.
They don't give a shit about that. They don't give a shit about that. And people are going to start feeling it, and they're going to be, that's what you're seeing at these town halls. White people pissed.
Right.
And it's sad, but it's just very telling. But they don't care. These are the people that voted for Republicans time after time, voted for Trump time after time, thinking, oh, they're hurting those people. They're hurting black people. They're hurting brown people. They're hurting gay people. They're hurting trans people. And then when it starts actually affecting them, they're like, what the fuck?
Right.
This wasn't supposed to happen to me. Listen to those letters from those people who voted for Trump. Are like, well, I'm doing a great job. This must be some sort of mistake.
Right.
I'm not DEI.
Yeah, but no, and so there was reporting afterwards, after the State of the Union, and the fact that there were Democrats that did get up and walk out. Now, I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, they did at the end of it.
How you feel at the end, yeah. But I don't know how you feel if they should have all in mass supported Representative Green and
well,
walked
that was
out.
in the beginning. Yeah, that was in the beginning.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. Okay, but hold on, hear me out. But what there was reporting that what ended up happening afterwards was that some of the Democratic leadership, including Hakeem Jeffries, basically called them in and gave the people that walked out a talking to. And it was him and a few others, to be fair. It wasn't just him.
It was all the leadership. Was all the full leadership.
All the leadership.
Yes.
And so they gave them a talking to that it's okay to dress in light colors and not clap, but, we have to be, civil. And again, war is ugly. Okay. And it's messy. And so when we are feeling this and when we see what's about to happen to all of us, then what the fuck are you talking about? It just makes people angry at you. And so I don't know, primaries? Do we have to primary these people? Do we have to do, what Republicans do and call them up and say, hey, listen, you guys are going to get primaried. We're going to,
I don't know.
I mean,
we've tried that. It doesn't work very well.
I know but it's maddening to me. And it's just like, I just really wish, and I will, we can post this list with their phone numbers, but we really do need to call them and tell them, what are you watching? Holy shit, this is a horror show. And honestly, we couldn't do this without our loyal listeners and love hearing from you. So please, please give us some stars and a review if you are so inclined wherever you get this podcast. I know that we are all feeling the pain of this second felon 47 occupation. But Anita and I really, really understand the assignment, and we want to be here for all of you, our loyal listeners. Without you, we couldn't make this happen. We could not keep this running. So, TruBlu Politics is sponsored by, of course, our wonderful TruBlu crew of listeners and our supporters on Patreon. As a small startup podcast, our Patreon members help us pay the bills to keep our podcast running and also allow us to keep investing in equipment upgrades for even better quality content in the future. We all have our day jobs. I know I have a day job, and that requires a lot of my time, but I want to be able to devote as much time to having these conversations, getting the word out, fighting the good fight against tyranny. So much of this is reliant on our community of progressives and road warriors. So when you sign up as a monthly TruBlu crew member on Patreon at even just $5, you instantly unlock our private TruBlu pod chat and full episodes a day earlier than everyone else without ads in the middle. Upwards from there, we've made even more perks available, like having your name shouted out at the end of our show and a personal Zoom call with me and Anita to discuss ways to overthrow convicted criminal felon 47, Elon motherfucking Musk, and the GOP. If you could please become a Patreon subscriber at any level, go to patreon.com/TruBlu. That's TruBlu Politics Podcast. We love you guys. Stay strong and stay in the fight. Do you not understand the assignment? I mean, because Jim Himes, he's always, that was surprising to me. Jim
Not
Himes.
me. Yeah,
it wasn't?
Not me. No,
That surprised
Jim
me because
Himes is a friggin' middle of the road Democrat. He's always been Mr.
But I mean,
bipartisan.
I guess it's because there have been those times when he and Moskowitz too, for that matter, have come out and
strongly,
like really strong. Like we were like, oh, they're kind of alpha liberals, like as we like to.
Moskowitz isn't really an alpha. You know what Moskowitz?
No, but
is?
he was
a
very
showman.
Well, right, but he was good in the hearings,
Yeah.
But it's like, but yeah. Anyway.
He gets on my nerves, honestly.
Okay.
He can be a little obnoxious, okay?
He can be, but I mean, he was one of those people that we were paying attention to, like during some of the, sham hearings, like Hunter Biden was it Hunter Biden or the impeachment? Yeah. Anyway.
Well, he's one of those guys. I mean, he worked with DeSantis, okay? Remember? Don't forget that. He was FEMA director under DeSantis. But yeah, no, I started thinking about this, about why they would react that way. And then I thought about Nancy Pelosi and how I remember in her book, I think she talks about this, but she talks about how, as the leader, okay, she has to try to, kind of rein in all these different factions, right? She has to be there so that these swing districts, these districts that are maybe like Tom Suozzi's district in New York, which is a swing district, a +5 Republican district. She has to not lose that seat. As a matter of fact, she was more aware and more careful not to upset people in those districts or to rock the boat, just like push those people to do, to go along with the more progressive members of the caucus, because she understood that they were in districts that were more conservative. Right. So AOC can go out like that. Jasmine Crockett can go out like that. And a lot of the other ones, but Maxwell Frost, and some of the other ones, but other people like the Tom Suozzi's and, Hines and some others that can't maybe. And maybe Hakeem Jeffries is protecting them.
Right.
So that's the way it usually went for with Nancy Pelosi. And I'm sure that Hakeem Jeffries, who's, Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, I mean, he's filling her shoes,
right?
And so I think
and she's there too with him. Yeah,
and she's exactly. So yeah, I think a lot of what we're seeing with Hakeem Jeffries, and I mean, I have been in the past really excited about Hakeem Jeffries.
Me too. I love him. Yeah.
And I still, am, hoping
hopeful
that he's I'm hopeful, but I just lately I have been very disappointed at some of the things that I'm hearing about him and from him. But you sent me this clip of Hakeem Jeffries speaking about Representative Ogles, and so I can go ahead and play that.
Yeah, it's the kind of attitude. Yeah, it's the kind of attitude that he shows here that I was trying to point out. So go ahead, or highlights.
Okay, here we go.
I'm here in the office. Just finished up a telephone town hall meeting with my dynamic sister, our Attorney General, Tish James, and my team informs me that some far-right extremists have introduced a resolution to try to throw Democratic members of the House off of our committees. That resolution is going nowhere. You ain't throwing no one off of any single committee. These people are malignant clowns. Andy Ogles is a fraud, a complete and total fraud. You aren't throwing anyone off of any committee in the House of Representatives. Don't make me expose you to folks who don't know you.
Yeah, spill the tea now. Don't hold off. Hold on to that.
And that, and that's the other thing, honestly, when you talk about like spilling the tea, and that bothers me also, when you hear about, behind closed doors, Republicans.
Yeah, they're really
this and that, whatever.
Can't stand
Name
Trump.
names. Fuck them. I am so tired of these people being protected because, and I mean, I went to hear Hakeem Jeffries and he talked in Chicago, and he said, he was asked that question about these Republicans, and he said, he goes, well, they're afraid for them, their safety and the safety of their families. First of all,
I believe they're afraid.
I don't believe it, but okay, let's pretend that is actually a consideration, or that's a calculation on their part. Okay, well, what about every Democrat that actually has the receipts and can play recordings?
Yeah, who've actually had people, arrested, like AOC, and actually convicted of a plot to kill her. Or I think it was, what is her name? She's in the squad.
Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan Omar also, but no, the guy was, going by her house with a gun. What's her name?
Ayanna Presley?
Pryhole. What is her name?
Yeah, Pramila Jayapal.
Pramila Jayapal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is, but you don't hear them whining and crying about it. These people, it's just, they're such fucking wimps. They're such fucking babies, every single Republican. And not only that, but most of this stuff they're down with. They've been down with it for 50 years or maybe even longer. From the Social Security started in 1935. That's how long they've been trying to gut it.
Right.
So yeah, it was communism. I mean, it's all the same arguments too, right? It's an entitlement program. It's communism. It's socialism. Remember Medicare? Ronald Reagan called it socialism.
Right.
These people have always been trying to get rid of any programs that help the American people. All they're there for is to cut taxes for their billionaire buddies. They don't believe. They're talking about getting rid of the income tax. The federal income tax and the IRS. What happens when they cut the IRS, which they have done, is their billionaire buddies don't get audited because it takes time and effort and manpower to audit people who make millions of dollars.
Right.
The people that will get audited, more than likely, are the regular people like you and me.
Right.
My brother's been audited twice. He doesn't make that much money. He's not a millionaire.
Right.
It's just, everything they do. This is the way you have to look at it. Everything they do is to that goal is to try to help their billionaire and multinational corporate donors. They do not give a shit about you, no matter who you are, whether you voted for Trump or you voted for Kamala Harris or you voted, you stayed home. They don't give a crap.
Right.
Republicans, we need to talk about them like that. We cannot stop. That's why I say truth tellers. That is the truth. When we talk about how, my good friend Mitch McConnell and, like Joe Biden would do, they're going to run all over you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're not there to be your friend. Or if they can be your friend and then, stab you in the back, that's for sure. Every single one of them did that. Mitch McConnell did that several times.
Right.
So, we have to start telling the truth about these people. Call them liars. Call them thieves.
Yeah, because everything that they're doing has real impact.
Yeah.
On and with everything that they want to do with Social Security, and Medicare, Medicaid. Now they're messing with the VA.
Yeah. They want 80,000 VA workers. Okay. They want to fire.
Right.
Lay off.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
They're patriots.
Yeah, they love the veterans, Karen.
They love the veterans.
Love the veterans. Don't you know that? Didn't you hear what's her name? That stupid lawyer for Donald Trump. What's her name? That Haba. Yeah. Haba. And she said, "Oh, we love the veterans." Somebody asked her, "What do you think about, or concerned about all the veterans that you're laying off?" And she starts off, "Well, you know how much we love the veterans. We love the veterans. We're always telling you how much we love the veterans." And then
you love
that same sentence.
Yeah.
In the same sentence, she goes, "But if they don't want to come to work, if they're not qualified or whatever, they can't do the job. Well, and these veterans, they're the people that actually put their lives on the line for this country.
Right.
And yet now they're just going to stab them in the back like that. They don't care about anybody. It's all performative. No. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
When these people that stand up for the flag, and the veterans to thank them everywhere. If they ever go to a sporting event, they're the people that stand up the tallest and put their hands on their chest and salute the veterans. And they're the same people voting for Trump and screwing the veterans.
It's like white men with little dicks that drive pickup trucks.
Is it?
Yeah. Or muscle cars. It's the same.
It's like preachers. It's like people who talk about being big time Christians. Okay. Yeah. Who like to wrap themselves with the flag and the Bible. Right. And at the same time, they're telling you, well, the Those people have to pull themselves up for their bootstraps. They should,
Right.
it's not. It's basically they're voting for people who are throwing children off of health care. They're voting for people who are stopping aid to children who have AIDS that are going to die now.
Right.
Or the food program, the USAID, the one that was giving them for these starving children. Right. Starving children, literally starving children. Yeah. And we have the food, it's right there, but it's not going to be shipped out. It's just going to sit there and rot because,
Yeah, because Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus. We love Jesus.
We love Jesus.
That's
and,
yeah.
So I wanted to play this clip of this is from a Facebook page called Vote Vets. And this is a veteran from Illinois speaking about the cuts that they want to do to the VA. So here
he was there with Hakeem Jeffries, just to be,
And yes, he was standing up there. Yes, with Hakeem Jeffries. And so this is more of this, please. Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes. This is what we need. Okay, here we go.
Yep.
I'm Eric Rodriguez. I'm a disabled Iraq war veteran.
He's getting choked up.
Take your time.
I know.
Take your time, man. A VA worker, a proud SEIU union steward representing Illinois. I proudly serve my country, and now I proudly serve my fellow veterans. But right now, the Trump administration is trying to cut the VA. Frontline workers and let billionaires steal our health care. Veterans, we are under attack. Last week, 1,400 workers got fired illegally. 22 of them were my colleagues at Hines VA Hospital. Some of them didn't even get a real notice. All I got was this, an email with X's where the date should be and no name. That's how little they think of people and our veterans in this country and that they serve our country. They're slashing staff, crushing unions, and selling out the VA for what? So billionaires can make more money while veterans sit on a wait list. Worse, they'll get no treatment. Our president was asleep while Musk was at the wheel. Do you know what happens to a serviceman when they fall asleep when they're on duty? Veterans don't trust him. He's not one of us. We're not about to sit back and take the SEIU. We're fighting back. We're organizing and we're taking action. We're not going to back down. On the south side of Chicago, we stand on business. It's time for you to do the same. We've done our duty. Now we're asking the administration and Republicans to do theirs. We serve this country. We know how to take it. Take the fight to them. And we know how to win. Thank you.
Yeah, it's sad. And you know what?
It's such a betrayal. It's such a betrayal.
It's such a betrayal.
But it exposes the frauds that the Republicans are. Like, to your earlier point about they wrap themselves in the flag and the Bible. It's all performative. It's all fucking bullshit. They don't give a fuck. All the Republicans care about is making money.
Yep.
For the what is it?
Uber wealthy.
The uber wealthy and the military industrial complex, the weapons manufacturers, the Halliburtons, all of that, and they don't give a fuck.
The fossil fuel industries.
The military veterans are expendable. They use them up. They break their bodies. They send our babies off to war to fight. After wars that they lie us into.
Yeah.
And then when they come home broken and in body bags. And when they come home, broken, then they do shit like this.
They don't want to be reminded of what fucking little bitches they are and how they don't stand up for anything. That's what people like that man represent. Like what Vladimir Zelensky represents. That's why they can't stand him, because he's an actual hero.
Yeah, exactly. And then that fuck twat Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend asking him why he doesn't wear a suit.
Yeah,
he doesn't wear a suit because he's respecting his countrymen,
in active war.
During war. What the fuck? I mean, it's just like that's these people are just the worst.
Evil.
They're evil, and talk about elitists.
Yeah.
You're gonna sit there I mean, it's just
called Democrats elites. It's such a bunch of bullshit. Everything, like I said, everything they do, first of all, is performative, and it's also projection.
Right.
When they talk about the elites, that's who they are.
Right.
That's who
and
they
then
are.
And then when we go out there and protest wars that we know they are lying us into, they sit there and they call us unpatriotic because we are petitioning our government, because we don't want to, because we love and respect the military so much that we don't want to send our young men and women off to battle to come back and then be treated so poorly by Republicans.
Well, it's the same thing. Like, the reason why most Democrats support Ukraine is because they understand that Ukraine has to win. Russia has to be stopped in Ukraine, because if it's not, our young men and women will have to go fight against Russia, because Russia's not going to stop at Ukraine.
Exactly.
So then these people, I swear to God, they're just so fucking myopic and nearsighted. They just, they don't even, maybe it's just they don't give a shit. Maybe that's what it is. They don't give a shit because they're not thinking about it.
And the people that get to vote for them are too stupid and and they're
selfish.
And I'm sorry, but
and racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand how so many people fall for the okie doke with this party, this political party.
Yeah, well, they know exactly how to do that. They know how to trigger these people, how to get to them. They appeal to their selfishness and they appeal to their racism. And it's working. It does. It works for people who don't, they're not able to. A lot of them are evangelical Christians, so-called evangelical Christians. And those people don't have any critical thinking skills.
Right.
So when they tell them something, because they've never been allowed to question anything from an authority, because these strict fundamentalist Christians, when they're taught, the Bible or anything like that, they're supposed to take it literally. They're not supposed to question it. You never question your father. You never question your priest. You never question your preacher, and you don't question God. Right. And of course, and you don't question whoever you appoint as your, dear leader. It used to be George W. Bush. Now it's Donald Trump. Oh, before that, it was Ronald Reagan. These people.
So the hope. Yeah. I mean, no, sorry. And so the hope is that people now are waking up and understanding the role of government in their lives, and that
I hope so.
I mean, well, they're gonna feel it. We always talk
that's true.
People aren't, feeling a certain kind of way. Well, they're gonna feel this, and so there is opportunity. And so, to kind of wrap things up, there is an opportunity here for Democrats. And so, obviously, with the messaging, and holding press conferences, acting as, kind of a counter messaging when the news breaks. This is how we're going to come out and we're going to speak about this breaking news, what's happening, with that Donald Trump and Elon Musk and JD Vance are doing. And then also adding to that, with these town halls, and it's been reported by Rachel Maddow. She's done a great job with covering all of these different town halls
and protests.
Protests around the country. And so with the town halls, and I know that you had attended a town hall, a teletown hall,
Yeah.
for Chip Roy. And so now the Republicans are being told not to hold town halls because of the spectacle, and instead hold, if they're going to hold town halls, to go ahead and do it via Zoom.
Zoom or teletown halls. They're okay with teletown halls.
Right. And so what was your experience with that?
Well, my experience, first of all, I didn't ever get on to ask him a question. So I just sat there and listened. And it was interesting because even then, when they get to control the conversation more, there were people that were calling in. There was a couple that were like, oh yeah, why, one guy was like, how can we help, ICE pick up more of these illegals, right? And then there was also a number of older people, it sounded like to me, that were like, they didn't think it was fair to be cutting taxes for the wealthy while, giving it to people. Oh, no, cutting programs for the poor while giving it to people who didn't need more money. There were concerns about veterans being laid off. There were several. There was, I guess, 4 or 5 altogether. And honestly, normally it's a very, very Republican district. I doubt very seriously that he gets that many questions where they're actually critical of what's going on in that district. So I was a little surprised by that. And, at that time, I was thinking about what I would like to ask him. But, thinking back on it, it did seem unusual that there were so many calls that were that critical. Mm-hmm. So I'm telling you, these people are not being paid by Democrats or whatever. This is what the Republicans are trying to tell people. They're just Democratic operatives in these Republican districts. If you ever look at the audience at these town halls, they don't look like Democrats to me. One guy even said, I'm not a Democrat, but I'm really concerned about the veterans.
Right.
And you can tell, even when I was listening to those calls, you could tell these people were being genuine, because they would say things like, and I would think they were probably voted for Trump, voted Republican.
Right.
Because they were very kind of hesitant to be critical, and then kind of just qualified it with, it's not that I'm against, more efficient government or cutting out waste, fraud, and abuse, but I don't think it's fair that, veterans are being laid off or something like that. So that you could tell these people they're concerned about what's going on.
So the opportunity then, if that's their play, is for, and this is what a lot of Democrats are now starting to talk about, going into these different districts and holding town halls so that the constituents there can be heard.
Yeah, because a lot of times these are districts where they don't get a town hall. These Republican representatives don't ever want to talk to their constituents. As a matter of fact, Ted Cruz, when I called his office about a town hall, they told me, oh, well, he meets with the constituents all the time in his office. I was like, well, that's in his office, but he never has a town hall here in Texas.
Right.
Never. He hasn't had a town hall in Texas from, I think, his first year in office, which was probably 2010 or something like that.
Yeah.
2011. So it's been a long time. He's afraid of them, because even at that time, there were some protesters, and he's afraid of that. And by the way, Ted Cruz gets booed everywhere he goes. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen when he appeared in that parade.
Cans of beer thrown at him.
That parade, remember the parade? And it was Houston.
Ouch.
And, people threw shit at him. Oh, yeah. Did you hear that people were throwing shit? It was a Cybertruck.
Oh yeah. No, people are pissed. People are pissed.
They're pissed. That's in Louisiana, okay? That kind of shit's happening all over the country. Yeah. It's not just Democrats. I mean, it's not just Democrats.
Yeah. So in closing, I did want to play this this clip. This is Ring of Fire. But just talking about Democrats, using the strategy of going into these red districts. And so
it's Farron Cousins, who's that fair is name of that YouTube channel is Fair and Balance, like Fair and FERRIN and Balance. Get it? Just saying.
Yeah. So this is now. I don't know. Listen, you know more than I do, but this is off of Ring
of Fire. Yeah, he's with Ring of Fire. Yeah.
Okay.
You'll probably find it under that. Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
that umbrella.
Yeah. So I've got it. Yep. So here we go.
Minnesota governor and former Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Walz has suggested, you know what? If Republicans aren't going to go talk to their constituents, maybe I will. Walz announced this week saying, quote, if your Republican representative won't meet with you because their agenda is so unpopular, maybe a Democrat will. Hell, maybe I will. Now, that's not exactly saying I'm gonna do this, but I think Walz needs to get there and say, like, I will do this. I will travel around Minnesota. If you've got a Republican representative that won't come back to their district, I'll see you next week. I'll be there Tuesday. I'll be there Thursday. I will sit and talk with you and listen to your concerns. That's how leadership should be in the Democratic Party right now. The fact that the Democratic Party has not jumped all over this issue and started holding town halls in these Republican districts where these Republicans are running away from blows my mind, and it shows the complete and total incompetence of the Democratic Party itself.
And I'm gonna say this. I mean, that might be a little harsh. I'm not interested in completely decimating the Democratic.
No.
Party.
And there's, you know what? I've seen a number of several, probably a lot of them. Okay, let's just say, actually doing a good job. But but a lot of them are not. They're just this is not what they went to Washington for. Right. To have to fight for democracy, to fight to save democracy.
Yes.
They went there to argue about marginal tax rates, okay?
Yes.
And now they're being thrown into this fight that they never, and some of them are really old too.
Yeah.
Some of them are very old.
Well, and when I was at Dempalooza this summer, at the DNC, there was this great booth that had this podcasts. I can't remember. Oh my God, what was it? Emerge. So Emerge, and it's an organization that helps women run for office. And they had these panels, and one of the panels was Jasmine Crockett, and we talk about messengers and getting these fierce younger representatives out there and talking. And she spoke specifically about the fact, she's like, look, this is that she was in tears one time, and Kamala Harris ran into her and was comforting her. And, she was talking about the fact that this is not why I didn't come to Washington to have to sit in these ridiculous hearings and refute lies by, Marjorie Taylor Greene and, put have a target put on my back. So she talked about that, and that was, that was a big frustration for her. So, I really think that, yes, we do have to, it's going to be a multi-pronged approach, and we have to take that into consideration. Exactly. Yeah. So when we're talking about the, Democratic Party, they're still the only party that are fighting for us, that want to actually help us, live our lives.
They don't actually want to do things that help Americans, period.
Exactly. Period. Exactly. Yeah. So in closing, Anita, because we're getting to that point, I just want to play a clip of Jasmine Crockett and because we need people like her telling the truth.
Yeah, we need truth tellers and people that are just fighters.
Yeah. So I just want to.
And activists, and we all have to learn to talk differently about this. When we are talking,
and call out the bullshit.
Call out the bullshit. Call them liars. Call them crooks. Call them criminals. Because guess what? They are. Okay, and what they're doing is evil. It truly is evil.
It is evil. And let's. I'm going to close, but I want to say before I play this, also talking speaking truth to power about the fact. What was it that made millions of Americans not want to vote for a black woman? It wasn't the cost of eggs. It wasn't the economy. It was racism. So I'm going to let's leave with this, okay?
Yeah.
And everybody stay in the fight. I'm going to leave with this.
Yes.
We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. The coddling is for the white boys. That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel away and why you can't make me doubt who I am? Is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education. This is why they are trying to literally say we won't fund the HBCUs, because they know that if they've already gone after affirmative action and they're saying, you know what, don't allow them to come into, say, these PWIs, as we call them, don't allow them to come into these institutions. We know why they created the HBCUs in the first place. It was because they wouldn't allow us into the white institutions. And so now they're not allowing us in. And now they're saying, you know what, we're also going to defund the HBCUs. You know why? Because they don't want any more Kamala Harrises. They don't want any more Jasmine Crockett's. But I got news for them. I don't care what they do. We will fight to the end to make sure that we get our due. Because again, if you want to talk about the people that shouldn't be in this country, you probably need to look in the mirror, because the last time I checked, the Native Americans who some of ICE have been rounding up, or the Puerto Ricans who are absolutely Americans, listen, the only people that came and colonized this place are your ancestors. Trump.
Boom.
Boom. Yeah, it's so true. All you have to do is look at the black president, Barack Obama, versus the white trash president, Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And look at the quality. Okay.
Yeah, let's be real. Let's be real. Okay. So on that note, Anita, unfortunately, I have to go back to my day job now because my phone is going up.
I have to finish making this smoothie.
Yes. Okay. Well,
I know it's probably not going to come out
for America.
I am
for America.
I'm going to put all these good ingredients in there.
Yes, healthy. Everybody take deep breaths.
Yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.